Tonight, a blast in Jerusalem has the world on high alert. Was it a terrorist attack? We'll fill you in.
Later, big political news out of Brazil, the impeachment that has everyone talking about the country's future.
Plus, the strongest earthquake in decades rocks Ecuador to its core. We have all the updates.
Hello, and welcome to MCTV News Update. I'm Max Stolf.
And I'm Kelly Curtin. Here are tonight's top stories. A bus explosion in Jerusalem left at least 21 people injured this morning. According to police, an explosive was placed on the back of the bus in South Jerusalem and injured passengers on an adjacent bus. Israeli police officials say that the attack seems to have been deliberate, but they are investigating all possibilities.
A verdict has been reached concerning the impeachment of the Brazilian president Dilma Rousseff last night. The voting finally came to an end, and it does not favor Rousseff. The final tally came to 367 votes, well above the 342 needed for the two-thirds vote. Now, the impeachment process will be handed off to the country's Senate, where they will vote further on the subject. Should they vote high enough, Rousseff will have to step down from the presidency for 180 days in order to defend herself in an impeachment trial.
The strongest earthquake to hit Ecuador in decades happened this Sunday. The 7.8 magnitude quake caused destructions for hundreds of miles in the Andean nation. 246 people are confirmed dead thus far, with over 2,500 injured. The epicenter laid a few miles inland in the northwestern portion of the country, somewhere between the Porto Viejo, the provincial capital of Manabí, and Pedernales, a resort town. This comes just one day after Japan has rattled by a 7.0 magnitude quake.
Our thoughts go out to everyone affected by the earthquake. Today, we have Grace Cunningham giving us the lowdown on the weather here in the Hudson Valley. Grace?
Hi, I'm Grace Cunningham with this week's Highs and Lows report. This week, a cold front diving out of Canada into the northeast will bring a quick round of cooler air and unsettled weather this week, putting an end to the recent dry and warm stretch for some. A sharp contrast in temperature will develop across the northeast heading into the middle of this week thanks to a cold front pushing southward. Today, on April 18th, there's a high of 80 degrees and a low of 50 degrees. Today's average is 62 degrees and a low of 38 degrees. Today's national record was an all-time high of 94 degrees with a low of 24. This beautiful day began with the sun rising at 6:10 a.m. and this amazing day will end with the sun setting at 7:24 p.m. Tonight's skies are mostly clear with a low of 50 degrees and a 15% chance of precipitation with west-north winds 2 miles per hour. Tomorrow, April 19th, there will be sunny skies with a high of 69 degrees and a 13% chance of precipitation with north winds of 17 miles per hour. Lucky for us, there are no classes tomorrow, so everyone can enjoy the beautiful day. Here's our 7-day forecast. Today, a high of 80 degrees and a low of 50 degrees. Tomorrow, April 19th, the high of 69 degrees and a low of 41 degrees. Wednesday the 20th, sunny skies with 65 degrees and a low of 38 degrees. Thursday the 21st, sunny skies with a high of 73 and a low of 51. The weekend starts off with a high of 74 on Friday, but cloudy with a few showers and a low of 52. Saturday the 23rd, there will be sunny skies with a high of 64 and a low of 39 degrees. Our weekend comes to an end with partly cloudy skies on Sunday with 66 degrees and a low of 43 degrees. We have a beautiful week ahead of us here at Marist College, so definitely look forward to doing your work outside on Marist Beach. Have a great week. I'm Grace Cunningham with this week's Highs and Lows report.
This weekend, President Obama's plans to close Guantanamo Bay prison took a step forward. On Saturday, the Pentagon announced that 9 Guantanamo Bay detainees will be transferred to Saudi Arabia, bringing the number of remaining Guantanamo prisoners to 80. The announcement comes just before Obama's planned trip to Saudi Arabia next week. The Department of Defense issued a statement on Saturday thanking Saudi Arabia for its continued support in helping the U.S. close the controversial prison.
Saudi Arabia has also issued a warning to the U.S. that it will sell off billions of American assets if Congress passes a new bill which would allow the victims of 9/11 and other terrorist attacks to sue foreign governments. The ultimatum was issued by Saudi Foreign Prime Minister Adel Al-Jubeir last month, but was first reported by the New York Times on Saturday. In response, the Obama administration has put heavy pressure on Congress to block the bill for fear of the economic distress it could cause to the United States.
All eyes are on the Empire State as the New York primaries now just days away. Presidential frontrunners Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are hoping to come out the victors in their home state, despite recent wins by their opponents. Diane Gallagher reports.
Senator Ted Cruz added another win in his column Saturday after sweeping all 14 Wyoming delegates at the state's convention. The victory comes 1 week after Cruz won big in Colorado, closing in on frontrunner Donald Trump's delegate count. Trump, however, remains confident.
He's got no road to the nomination. He doesn't. Mathematically, after this weekend, when he gets wiped out in New York, which he will, he gets wiped out. He no longer has a road to the nomination.
Now, the Trump campaign is counting just on that. According to the latest polls, Trump has a sizable lead with voters ahead of the New York primary on Tuesday. But it may not be enough to clinch the Republican nomination, and that is what Cruz is counting on.
You know, it's easy to talk about making America great again. You can even print that on a baseball cap. But the real question is, do you understand the principles and values that made America great in the first place?
Last week, it was Bernie Sanders who walked away with Wyoming, winning his 8th contest in a row. That momentum may not carry over to New York, where Hillary Clinton is also looking to win big in her home state. The latest polls show Clinton leading Sanders by double digits. I'm Diane Gallagher reporting.
Last Tuesday, Marist students and Poughkeepsie community members filled the McCann Center to witness history in the making. Andrew Auger has the scoop.
You guys here to support Bernie Sanders? Yeah! Awesome. Are you also excited to see Michael Stipe from REM? Yeah! All right.
Temperatures rested in the mid-50s outside the McCann Recreational Center last Tuesday evening, but a crowd of over 5,000 Marist students and Poughkeepsie residents prepared to feel the burn. Democratic presidential nominee Bernie Sanders' unexpected stop to the Hudson Valley was greeted by an enthusiastic crowd, all with opinions and hopes about what they would hear from the Sanders campaign on this day.
The one that's got the best interests of our country and his plans and all that.
More money and researches towards the fight against Alzheimer's is a big thing. There's a lot, both candidates are very similar both have a lot of good things going for them. But Bernie could really win me over with that today.
The entire election right now, it's become very complicated, and because we're of age and because we have the ability and we can vote now, it's upon us to take the responsibility to really learn about the candidates, and that's what I'm trying to do.
We're going to make a difference. I mean, you don't see the rest of them rallying like we rally, spreading love, not hatred.
Most apparent in the masses that gathered for Sanders was the diversity through the people who were waiting. Some of the crowd skewed elderly.
He tells the truth. He doesn't try to sugarcoat things or just say what he thinks that people want to hear.
While some skewed in the other direction.
I don't know, just nature likes him. The bird likes him. Oh, also I like his smile.
You like his smile?
Yeah.
He does have a very nice
smile.
Those fortunate enough to get inside the packed arena, including Marist President Dennis Murray, listened to speeches from Deputy Mayor of New Rochelle Jared Rice, activist Josh Fox, a performance of the national anthem by Marist own Kelly Peaks. Over an hour later, former frontman of REM Michael Stipe gave Sanders his introduction. Sanders took some time to talk about Hudson Valley icon Franklin Roosevelt and his visit to the FDR Museum.
Happy to be there because, in my view, FDR was one of the great presidents.
The rest of his speech spanned topics from education to social rights, with one or two slight jabs at Republican candidate Donald Trump.
American people understand that we are a great nation because of our diversity. Because we come together as one people, regardless of our race or religion or country of origin.
Sanders' speech lasted just an hour, but he left on a poignant note and a plea for action during Tuesday's New York primary, a race in which he trails by 10 points to Hillary Clinton.
What I've learned in this campaign is that when there is a large voter
CBS College Television, Andrew Auger, Poughkeepsie, New York.
Coming up after the break, the $20 bill is getting a makeover.
Plus, a tiger keeper killed by one of his own tigers. Stay tuned for the details.
Reactions were mixed when it was announced a woman would be placed on the $10 bill. Many felt that it was wrong to kick off Alexander Hamilton, the grandfather of American banking. Treasury Secretary Jack Lew decided to keep Hamilton at the center of the $10 bill, but plans to place a historical woman on the flip side. At the same time, Lew is revamping the $20 bill by replacing Andrew Jackson with a woman that will represent the fight for racial justice.
A University of California student was kicked off of a Southwest airline flight. The reason? He was speaking Arabic. Carol Adine Makhzoumi was boarding a plane from Los Angeles to Oakland, California, when he decided to call his uncle in Baghdad to tell him about a dinner he had the night before with the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. While telling his story, he used a phrase that meant, "God willing, I will call when I arrive." The word Allah was used, and a woman sitting next to him became concerned. Moments later, Makhzoumi was told to leave the plane. He's now demanding a formal apology from the airline company.
A keeper at the Palm Beach Zoo died Friday after being attacked by a tiger. Stacy Conweiser, lead tiger keeper at the zoo, was attacked by a 13-year-old male Malayan tiger. Reports show that Conweiser was not doing anything out of the ordinary when the attack took place in a contained area where the tigers usually sleep. The zoo was closed for the rest of the weekend, and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration has launched an investigation into this freak attack.
What's been going on in the world of sports this week? Well, Michael Conway has your weekly sports report. Mike? Really botched that one.
I'm Mike Conway with This Week in Sports. In NHL news, the sprint for the Stanley Cup is underway as the best teams in hockey square off. There just isn't anything like playoff hockey. Out of all these matchups on the ice, this week's one to keep your eye on is the matchup between the Los Angeles Kings and the San Jose Sharks. The Kings have won 2 recent Stanley Cups in 2012 and 2014, which gives them the experience, but the Sharks, who scored just 4 points less than the Kings this year, are leading the series 2-0. The Sharks' not-so-secret weapon in this case is center Joe Palavsky, whose 38-goal season has put the Sharks where they are now. In NBA playoff news, the eyes of America are fixated on Steph Curry and the seemingly unstoppable Golden State Warriors. But shift your attention over to the East Coast and you'll see a storm brewing between the fairly even-matched Boston Celtics and Atlanta Hawks. In the first game of the series, the Hawks took the series with a tight 100-2, 101 finish. In light of Al Horford's 24 points, the Hawks blew a massive 19-point lead. Unfortunately for the Celtics, not capitalizing on the comeback wasn't the worst part of the game, as they lost expert defender Avery Bradley with a significant strain to the hamstring in the fourth quarter. Bradley could be absent from the court for as long as the rest of the series against the Hawks. With NBA and NHL playoff news taking up most of the sports world's attention, there's no denying the electric performance of Rockies rookie shortstop Trevor Story. With an unheard of 7 home runs through his first 6 games, the 23-year-old already has a permanent place in the Hall of Fame as his batting gloves and helmet currently reside there. Not even moved into his own home in Denver yet, Story certainly seems to already be very comfortable in Colorado with an incredible start to the season. He hit 2 home runs off Arizona Diamondback ace Zach Greinke opening day in his first 2 major league at-bats. Although the game of baseball is long and tedious, and Story's longevity is still up for debate, you have to admit the kid makes a good first impression. I'm Mike Conway, and this has been another edition of MCTV Sports.
Thanks, Mike. A new study is underway in Dutchess County that aims to kill ticks. The Kari Institute of Ecosystem Studies is preparing a 5-year study that will be applied to 24 Dutchess County neighborhoods. The goal is to reduce Lyme disease rates by spraying pesticides in certain areas, since ticks are known to move from one yard to the other by pets or other wildlife. Participants involved in this study will report diagnosed cases of the tick-borne disease and any encounters with ticks on themselves or their pets.
All across the country, students in high school await a response from the colleges that they've applied to. Last week, many students received an affirmative answer from the University of Buffalo. About 5,000, in fact. The only problem, none of these students were actually accepted. In a statement Friday, the University of Buffalo said that the acceptance emails were sent accidentally and sent another email within 4 hours to inform the students of the mix-up. For those who received emails, are still under review and still have a chance of being accepted.
With the beautiful weather here at Marist finally arriving, Jamie Keneally is here to let you know all about what happened this weekend on the campus green. Jamie?
Welcome to this week's What the Fox. I'm your host, Jamie Keneally. Spring fever is upon us. This week, we're finally seeing temperatures in the 70s. I mean, it hasn't been this warm since, I don't know, February, early March. But then, of course, who can forget when it snowed 2 weeks ago? I had to wear rain boots and use my umbrella, and most other people were not properly equipped to handle the most snow we got all year. Come on, security, we couldn't have at least delayed morning classes? Anyway, Mother Nature has thankfully sorted it all out. Now I can finally wear the shorts I brought back from spring break and hopefully retire my North Face until next year. Now the warm weather seems to have injected a much needed dose of happiness into Marist campus. Considering finals are only a few weeks away, I remember my freshman year when people would talk about Marist Beach and I didn't believe them that it was a real thing. Boy was I wrong. Come springtime, the green in front of the James A. Canavino Library is bumpin'. This past Friday and Saturday, my friends and I had 2 lovely picnics on Marist Beach. We had burgers, fries, chicken, cookies, the works. As we sat on the green, we just listened to music and watched the sunset. It was a nice, calm few hours before we snapped back to reality. Marist Beach is a great place to not think about the short time we have left at school and the ever-growing list of things that need to get done before we leave on May 13th. Marist Beach is a happy place, filled with music, friends, food, and outdoor activities. Though I must say, it's pretty embarrassing if you can't throw a football or catch a frisbee. While on the green, one is on display for the disciplined workers in the library, the people walking to and from class, the dorms that surround the area, and of course, the people enjoying Marist Beach. So here's a tip. Learn how to properly throw and catch a ball before putting yourself on display for half of the student body to see. If your throwing arm is a bit rusty, then I don't recommend practicing on the green. And although it's a busy time of year, find some time to go visit Marist Beach with your friends. Everyone needs a study break once in a while, and some vitamin D does the soul good. Take it from my sunburn. That's it for this week's What the Fox. I'm Jamie Keneally. Back to you guys in the studio.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on Tobacco, e-cigarettes and hookah use is on the rise among middle and high school students. A survey collected in 2015 found that 16% of high school students and about 5% of middle school students said they used an e-cigarette at least once in the last month. Recent data predicts that the use of e-cigarettes could be a gateway to tobacco use and that nicotine could be harmful to the brain development in young people. It's likely that e-cigarettes will continue to grow unless tighter restrictions are placed around purchasing, advertising, and the flavoring of the product.
Remember former presidential candidate Mike Huckabee and Martin O'Malley? The two held a joint meeting in the nation's capital this weekend to discuss the popular AMC television show, Turn Washington Spies, a historical drama during the time of America's founding. But the duo found another common thread, or should we say string. Both men have an affinity for playing guitar and both used to play in bands. O'Malley played in the O'Malley's March and Huckabee in Capitol Offensive. Neither statesman ruled out the possibility of forming a bipartisan band. Huckabee joked it would be massive, and we're both looking for something to do, right?
That's awesome. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week to MCTV's Weekly News Update. I'm Max Stolf.
And I'm Kelly Curtin. See you all next week. Yeah, that's a great story.